He's got a tremendous body, size, athleticism, and an advanced skill set. A special player at the highest caliber, one of the nation's best basketball players. Meet Zion Williamson, a 6'7", 285-pound forward, and one of the biggest showcases of basketball talent in the country. As a rising star at Duke University, Zion is on the verge of making his dreams come true. A lucrative career in the NBA appears to be within his grasp. NBA player Kevin Durant described him as a once-in-a-generation type athlete, while veteran Paul Pierce claimed he is already more physical than 98% of NBA players. Even NBA superstar LeBron James appears to have his eyes on Williamson, as he was once seen attending one of his games and was even quoted as saying that the future NBA prospect was very impressive. In fact, people have been buzzing about him over the past 2 years thanks to his seemingly superhuman athleticism and size combination. But just who is Zion Williamson? Let's find out. Welcome to NBA Insider. Before we begin, we wanted to let you know about our video sponsor, Mars Real. Mars Real is a great basketball channel that focuses on creating weekly profiles of the future stars of the NBA. Mars Real creates amazing mixtapes and premium stories about young up-and-coming athletes. They also run weekly skills training sessions in Los Angeles with NBA trainers who have worked with the Los Angeles Lakers, Cleveland Cavaliers, Kobe Bryant, and much more. Mars Real is also backed by many celebrities and athlete investors like Drake, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Kevin Durant. As a matter of fact, some of the footage you're about to see in this video was captured by the Mars Real crew as they attended countless high school games while making their signature mixtapes. Click the first link in the description below to subscribe to them. Let them know you were sent by us. With that being said, let's begin. Zion Lateef Williamson was born on July 6, 2000 in Salisbury, a small city with a population of less than 35,000 located in North Carolina. His biological father, Lateef Williamson, played high school football as a 6'5", 270-pound defensive lineman while earning All-American honors at Mayo High School in Darlington, South Carolina. In 1993, Lateef would go on to commit to NC State before transferring to Division II Livingstone College. On the other hand, Zion's mother, Sharonda Sampson, was a 5'10" standout sprinter who also attended Livingstone. In fact, it was here at Livingstone College where the two would first meet. Sharonda would eventually become pregnant with her first son. Before his birth, Zion's grandmother managed to convince her daughter to name her son something extra special, believing that he would one day have a bright future. Since religion was an important aspect of their life, his mother decided to name him after the biblical location, Mount Zion, near Jerusalem. Then, in 2002, when he was just 2 years old, Zion's grandmother would sadly pass away. Following this, the family would move from Salisbury to Florence, a city located in South Carolina. By the time he was 5 years old, his mother and father divorced. His mother would eventually remarry to a man by the name of Lee Anderson, a former college point guard at Clemson and Columbus State. In fact, he was just 2 weeks away from going to NBA camp before he was tragically hit by a car. Due to this, he had decided to become heavily involved in youth basketball and started coaching AAU teams as a way to provide at-risk children with the opportunity he sadly missed out on. As the child of two college athletes, Zion grew up in a sporting environment. However, before starting basketball, Williamson played soccer and football as a quarterback. Then, when he was 5 years old, he set his sights on basketball, a sport which he immediately fell in love with. As a child, Williamson told his stepfather and his mother that he wanted to go to college for basketball, be the best player in the nation, and one day play in the NBA. By the time he turned 7 years old, he started working towards that goal by waking up every morning at 5 a.m. to train and develop his skills. Every morning before school started and every afternoon after his homework was done, he would train at a local park. While his friends were sleeping or playing video games, Zion was busy perfecting his skills. Eventually, he began competing in youth leagues. With his mother coaching the team, Zion joined and played for the Sumter Falcons, where he would dominate even while facing opponents up to 4 years older than him. Following this, Zion would join the basketball team at Jonakin Middle School in Marion, South Carolina. There, he averaged 20 points per game with his mother once again as his coach. It made sense seeing as Zion's mother had always believed her son was a talented basketball player, especially when considering the fact that he clearly stood out amongst his peers when it came to the sport. Not to mention that whenever he would have a basketball game, there would be elderly people who would attend them and claim that he was a special kid who would one day be on TV. But despite his mother's confidence in her son's ability, Zion was far from becoming a star. You see, Williamson wasn't exactly the tallest player. In fact, when he was in the 8th grade, he stood at just 5 foot 9 inches and weighed 120 pounds. While this is not too short for the average 13-year-old, the truth was that it was far from the average NBA height. Due to his lack of size, his stepfather, Lee Anderson, began teaching him the basics and fundamentals associated with playing the point guard position. The former college basketball player would help to improve his skills as the two would train day and night. With his hard work and dedication, Williamson's skills would slowly begin to develop to the extent that his handles, vision, and overall skills were unlike any other. When it was time for Zion to go to high school, his parents decided to leave Florence and search for a new school. Although the institutes in Florence were not the worst, they were looking for a school that could give Zion a great education while helping develop his basketball skills. Unlike other athletes who would attend prep schools such as Montverde, Oak Hill, and Findlay Prep, Williamson decided to attend a school in his home state of South Carolina. That school was none other than Spartanburg Day, a small K-12 private school located in Spartanburg, South Carolina. You see, back when Williamson was in the 5th grade, his stepfather, Lee Anderson, coached an AAU team in a tournament at Spartanburg Day School. It was also around this time that Spartanburg Day coach Lee Sauter first saw Williamson on the basketball court. At the time, there was nothing physically remarkable about him. In fact, he was about the same size as the other kids on his team. And although Zion was indeed a good player, it wasn't his shooting or ball handling that impressed Sauter, but rather his basketball IQ and humble nature. It was true that he was the point guard for that team and the smartest player on the floor. However, when the tournament was over and he was awarded the MVP trophy, Zion gave it to another kid on his team who hadn't done anything all weekend. When asked why he did it, he claimed that he made his first basket, and that's why he deserved it. After seeing this, the Spartanburg Day coach knew Zion was not only a great player, but a real one at that. Following the tournament, Williamson's stepfather and Spartanburg coach kept in touch. So years later, when his parents were searching for an appropriate high school for their child, they knew just the place. His mother immediately enrolled Zion in Spartanburg Day just before his freshman year. Before Williamson arrived, the school wasn't exactly a basketball factory. For starters, they did not have a full-time basketball coach. Sauter was working as the varsity basketball coach on the side, with his primary job as a sheriff's deputy for the Spartanburg County. Regardless, in 2014, as a high school freshman, Zion began playing for the Spartanburg Griffins. While it was true that he was slowly developing into an outstanding player, the truth was that very few people outside of South Carolina knew about him. That was until the summer of 2016. You see, when he first arrived at the school, Zion was constantly dwarfed by larger teammates. Then in between his freshman and sophomore seasons, when he fell and broke his wrist during a game, doctors told Zion's family to be careful. This was mainly due to the fact that x-rays had showed that Williamson's growth plate was open, which could potentially lead to him growing taller in height. Sure enough, Zion started growing fast, really fast. In between his freshman year and summer, Williamson experienced a growth spurt that immediately pushed him from the skinny 5'9" point guard he once was to a 6'3" powerhouse, a total of 5 inches in less than a few months. The growth came as a shock to everyone, especially his mom, who had difficulties keeping up with his clothes. Aside from this, his weight would also begin to rise, as the once 120-pound freshman was now weighing in at an insane 175 pounds, a 55-pound growth in a matter of months. However, as his height and weight began to increase, his back and knees began suffering from pain. This was the same reason doctors had warned his family to keep an eye on him. Despite this, once the pain went away and he began to recover, Williamson would discover a side to his skills that he never knew existed. You see, with an increase in his height and weight, Zion's athleticism somehow managed to develop as he found himself being able to do new things, including the ability to perform ridiculous dunks. As a faster and stronger player, Zion began flying past defenders of all shapes and sizes, Overall, these newfound abilities help him to become a versatile player. By the time he turned 15 years old, Zion was dominating on the court, averaging 24.4 points, 9.4 rebounds, 3.3 steals, 3 blocks, and 2.8 assists per game. That same season, he would go on to earn All-State and All-Region honors while leading Spartanburg to a state championship. By 10th grade, Zion would continue to grow as the sophomore stood at a shocking 6 foot 6 inches. That season, he averaged 28.3 points, 10.4 rebounds, 3.9 blocks, 2.7 steals, and 2.5 assists per game. He would also lead the Griffins to their first title in history while being named Player of the Year. That same season, Williams received his first scholarship offer from Wofford College. By the start of the 2016 season, his junior year, his outstanding skills helped push him into the national spotlight as he became a 5-star recruit and was ranked the number 2 player in the 2018 class. That season, he averaged 36.8 points, 13 rebounds, 2.5 blocks, 3 steals, and 3.2 assists per game, a significant increase from the previous season. Zion would also single-handedly lead his team to 3 straight state championships. With his newfound skills beginning to develop, people began hearing whispers about the high school student coming out of Spartanburg. In his final 2 years in high school, video footages of Zion's highlights started going viral as they began generating hundreds of thousands of views on YouTube. It was no surprise that people began taking notice of the player with the ball handling, passing, and shooting skills of a guard, but the body of a power forward. With another 3-inch growth spurt, the 6 foot 6 forward became a YouTube sensation as his thunderous dunks took off on social media. NBA players and celebrities alike were taken by storm with his unique blend of eye-popping size and highlight reel skills. With thousands of followers on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Zion instantly became the internet's favorite dunker. In a span of less than a year, his fame had spread not just across the country, but across the globe. In fact, he was such an outstanding talent that he made a special appearance on the cover of Slam Magazine's June 2017 issue and was even offered a football scholarship from Louisiana State University. By the end of his junior season, and still only 16 years old, Zion began receiving offers from 16 NCAA Division I programs. Spartanburg Day School began receiving phone calls and emails from a variety of colleges, including the likes of Clemson, Florida, North Carolina, and South Carolina. However, one call that surprised him came from Duke University's head coach, Mike Krzyzewski. Krzyzewski had been at the Olympics all summer, coaching the U.S. men's team, and had heard so much about Zion from his college assistants. After watching and revising some film of Zion's gameplay, he immediately fell in love with what he saw and decided to recruit the high school phenom. So, on August 30th, 2016, he offered Zion a scholarship to join the Duke Blue Devils. The following year, as a high school senior, Zion continued to dominate on the hardwood floors, averaging 36.4 points, 11.4 rebounds, 2.3 blocks, 3.4 steals, and 3.5 assists per game. Then on January 20th, 2018, in a live telecast on ESPN, Williamson finally decided to make his announcement of his commitment to Duke.
As I end this chapter and begin the next with the support of my God and my family, in the fall of 2018, I will continue my basketball journey as I will be joining the Brotherhood of Duke University.
Upon his arrival, Zion began playing as a forward for the Duke Blue Devils. Williamson made his preseason debut for Duke on August 15, 2018, recording a double-double of 29 points and 13 rebounds, and shooting 3 of 4 from three-point range. A great start to his college career indeed. Then, on November 6th, in his first regular season game, he saw immediate success with the team, scoring 28 points on 11 of 13 shooting. In his first week, he would go on to earn ACC Player of the Week honors while setting the school's single-game freshman scoring record. Today, the man-child from Spartanburg High continues to dominate on the hardwood floors. Over the course of about 2 years, Zion has managed to pick up more height and a bit over 100 pounds. As of the making of this video, Duke University has him listed as a 6'7", 285-pound forward. To put that into perspective, NBA center Boban Marjanovic stands at 7'3" and is just 5 pounds heavier at 290 pounds. Not only is he the heaviest, but he is also the tallest guy in the NBA. On the other hand, NBA superstar LeBron James is 35 pounds lighter than Zion. In fact, Williamson is so bulky that he is just 9 pounds lighter than Shaquille O'Neal during his LSU days. That means he is heavier than a lot of the best big men in NBA history. Pretty impressive for someone who isn't even in the NBA. As if that is not amazing enough, Williamson is also an athletic freak show who bounces off the ground with ease and power. In fact, when he first arrived at the school, he set a new record as the player with the highest max vertical leap in Duke University history. As a matter of fact, the legendary leaper jumped too high to even have his number recorded. After adjusting the bar's height by adding weights under his base, Zion eventually topped out at a record-breaking 40-inch max vertical leap. This insane jumping ability is what also allows for him to touch the top of the backboard, putting him in a special class with dunk legends such as Vince Carter. But it's not just his athletic ability and vertical jump that make him so intriguing. It's that he's able to do it at 6'7", weighing in at 285 pounds and with a 6'10" wingspan. Overall, Williamson is a flat-out beast. He is one of the most unique and fascinating basketball prospects to come through the high school ranks in quite some time. Despite the fact that he has the size and weight of the average NFL defensive end, he is still able to get to the rim where he can show off some strength, explosive athleticism, and finish well above the rim. It's a tough task for the opposition to handle his brute force and power, not to mention that he's also a good help side shot blocker and has the chance to be a really good rebounder at the next level. His physical attributes have drawn comparisons to former NBA stars such as Charles Barkley and Larry Johnson. In addition, according to several different analysts, his gameplay and body build resembles current NBA players such as Julius Randle and even LeBron James. Williamson has the potential to turn into an incredible matchup problem at the NBA level. He is very coordinated for his size and shows the potential to be a lead scorer thanks to his ability to create off the bounce. He has the burst of a guard off the dribble and a handle that's advanced enough that he isn't just a straight line driver. All in all, Zion is a truly elite athlete with underrated feel and instincts, giving him the upside of a future NBA superstar. And while he is one of the most unique young players to enter the basketball pipeline in recent memory, many still worry about how his game will translate to the NBA floors. It makes sense considering when we take a detailed look at his highlights, you are able to witness a variety of flaws that need to be fixed in order to convert his skills from the high school and college level over to the NBA. While it is true that Zion Williamson is indeed an outstanding player, the truth is that the culture of high school basketball can make athletic players seem more impressive than they are. Many players each year struggle at higher levels despite having the gifts to dominate the high school scene. You see, despite the fact that he is projected to be the first overall pick in the 2019 NBA draft, the big worry about Zion for many scouts is the role he will play. Many argue that he is both undersized and oversized for the NBA floor. Then, of course, there is the fact that there are still a few areas of his gameplay that require growth. While Zion's athleticism has shown to translate against better competition, the skills he'll need to succeed, even in college, are going to need to be improved. In regards to his offensive game, Zion needs to work on his spot-up shooting. While his jumper mechanics are decent, he hasn't had success with shooting from distance to date. A quick glimpse at his highlights would prove this opinion. Speaking of which, if you like this profile of Zion Williamson, then we recommend you check out our friends over at Mars Real. Mars Real profiles the top young basketball players in the nation through their Mars Real Chronicles series and mixtapes. Some of the players they recently spotlighted include Boogie Ellis, Dominic Harris, Sky, and ZZ Clark. They also release new videos weekly, so go ahead and check them out. Don't forget to subscribe to their channel and let them know we sent you. Links are in the description and at the end of the video. Now, back to Zion. Although he can shoot over zone defenses from long range, he doesn't have a reliable jump shot. There's also the fact that he requires some work on his ball handling and finishing with his right hand. Williamson's avoidance of his non-dominant hand while finishing is an issue. While he is left-handed and that adds a very slight advantage, He still almost never finishes right, and that is going to easily be schemed for in the NBA. Williamson also needs improvement in his passing ability. He's shown the capability to be a decent ball mover, but when it comes to pick and rolls, that piece is lacking right now. If he's planning to become a future NBA star, he needs to address these flaws. So far, he hasn't proven that he can do this. In the end, Zion Williamson is an absurd athlete, and he has high star potential at this point. But to get there, he is going to have to provide significant improvements in areas of his game that will differentiate between whether he goes on to become just a good NBA player or a future star. Right now, Zion might seem like an awkward fit in the modern game, but his talent is so obvious and unique. We know he has the talent to be the number 1 or number 2 pick in the 2019 NBA draft. And while many believe that he is going to be an extremely polarizing NBA prospect, it's going to be interesting to see just how he performs at Duke and beyond. Only time will tell. Thanks again to Mars Real for sponsoring this video. Check out their Chronicles playlist on the top and subscribe via the first description link.